Hey, Greg. Why are you coming here looking like that? You know that today is the day of our class reunion, right?
Huh? Who is this?
This is Jan Witherton.
Jan Witherton?
Well, this isn't my parents' last name, so I'm sure you won't know who I am. Jan Smith.
Oh, Jan Smith, huh? It's been a very long time.
But I'm married now, so you can call me by my new last name, Witherton.
So if you're talking to me right now after such a long time, that must mean you're here right now at the reunion as well, right?
I am, you idiot!
Then you shouldn't have to be texting me right now, right? You can come over to me and talk in person.
The reason I'm texting you right now is because I don't want to come over to you.
Huh?
Are you going to tell me that that old heap of garbage truck you showed up in today is yours?
That's right, but what does that have to do with anything?
Are you serious? My God. I cannot believe you'd show up to your class reunion in a truck like that, still wearing your raggedy work clothes.
So that's what all of this is about. Well, before the reunion started, I had a job come up that I needed to be at, so there was no time for me to get changed after my work was done.
You didn't change your clothes because you're too poor to have proper clothing, right?
What?
If I remember correctly, your house is filled with all sorts of old and disgusting furniture because your parents could never afford to get anything new.
Now that you're saying that again, it reminds me of how often you picked on me back in school because of my house.
Well, come on. Did you see your place? You've been living in that same place ever since we all started elementary school, and I was certain that that house would cave in on itself at some point before we all graduated high school.
Well, right now my older brother and his wife have that house, and I'm living downtown near the bus station. Don't you remember back when we all finished elementary school, I moved into a new place with my family? We ended up getting a house downtown near the bus station where there was a shop on the first floor and then our house was on the second floor. Well, my parents opened that secondhand furniture store on the first floor when we moved in.
So that's what happened to that old house.
Since my parents run the place on the first floor of the building, and since I have a job of my own, I have no desire to work for them.
I see. So your parents must have seen just how much of a useless idiot you really are and made sure not to let you work in that store with them, right?
That's not the reason for it at all. I'm just saying that I have wants of my own, and one of those is to work a different kind of job than that.
So in other words, what you're saying is that you failed to do the job they asked you to do, and so now you're left doing some stupid work that you want to do. I totally get it now. Such a great feeling, right?
So, no matter what I try and say about myself, you seem to only want to make it seem as though I'm a failure.
And another thing, it's starting to smell like sweat in here now. It must be a pretty rough life having to work hard for such little income every day, right? I guess life for you is totally different from the life a CEO's wife like me gets to live.
You're the wife of a CEO? So your husband runs a company somewhere and you're able to live easily as his wife?
That's it. And that really expensive-looking car parked out front is the car that my husband bought for me. It must be crazy to see someone like me living their life on easy mode when you're stuck having to drive a run-down truck like that and work every day in those stinky clothes as a poor person.
I can tell that you have no idea what being poor is really like, and that's fine. But I hold a lot of respect for the job I do, and I feel as though the life I have right now doesn't make me a poor person in any way.
Really? Even though you just showed up to your class reunion in sweaty work clothes and a falling-apart pickup truck?
I only came here today in my work clothes and that truck because I got a job last minute that I needed to go help with. So that has nothing to do with the man I've become. And after I'd finished that job, I didn't have time to head all the way back home to get changed, so that's why I came dressed in my work clothes and everything. And as for the truck and these clothes, they're all from my job.
Oh, come on now. What kind of work are you helping with that requires you to have that crappy truck and such smelly clothes?
Near the bus station downtown, there's that produce store that happens to be busy every day, right? Well, currently, a friend of mine who's a farmer isn't doing so well, so I went out to his farm to grab the produce he planned to sell today and drove it into town to be placed in that store before coming here. The store is on the way, so I had no problem doing that for him.
You can tell me any kind of excuse you'd like.
Jan, if all you plan to do is make poor comments about me due to your delusions all day, do you mind just shutting up?
Huh? Delusions?
I really want to put down my phone now so that I can get back to talking with my old friends, so this is where we'll be ending things.
Who cares what you want, you moneyless loser? You're the most disgusting person I've ever come across. What was up with that? You had wanted time to talk to all your old friends today, but now you're sneaking out. Maybe after talking to everyone for a bit, they started to realize just how much of a moneyless loser you really are, and so you snuck away in embarrassment? Well, it's totally okay for you to not come to the after party, all right? If a loser like you had to come to a party with all of us in those sweaty clothes of yours, well, you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Well, actually, the only reason I had to leave is that I have some more work to get done now, and so I had no other choice. But if you still want to doubt what I'm saying, go ahead and ask some of the people I was talking to, and they'll say the same thing.
You actually think I'm going to go check on what's happened to you? I do not have the time to go out asking why a poor person like you had to leave the party.
That's right, but now that we both understand one another, can you stop texting me about this?
Huh?
I am a bit jealous that you get to be the wife of a CEO and all that, but don't think that means I care to talk with you.
And you should be jealous. I'm like a celebrity to all of you guys. Unlike a moneyless loser like you, I live in a completely different world filled with fancy and gorgeous things.
And a true celebrity would never care to talk with me the way you are now.
Excuse me?
To tell it to you straight, you're being indecent.
What the hell did you just say?
Do you really think you have it in you to be the wife of a CEO? Because a true wife of one would be helping him with his company rather than using his image to boost your own. Let's put it this way. If I was your husband and I was a CEO and all you did as my wife was spend my money and make fun of others, then I'd probably say that I don't need you as my wife anymore.
Don't need me?
That's right. Don't need ya. Right. Now that we're talking about your husband and his job as a CEO, can you go ahead and tell him that he is in debt $7 million to all of his customers and that those relations will be halted for the time being?
Huh? $7 million?
Of course, he'll be told by other companies as well here soon, but it would be nice of you as his wife to inform him of all this.
Is this like a downturn?
In your case, you're much like your husband's employees, where you're given money by him like a salary every month, right? Well, since your income is on the line much like the rest of your husband's employees, it'd be best that you start to understand the state of his company a bit more.
Greg! What the hell does this mean? How are you the #1 customer to my husband's company?
So you finally talked with your husband about this?
I sure the hell have. Just when I thought you were trying to play games with me by saying all of that about my husband, I went and asked him myself to see what was going on.
So you thought that I was just messing around then?
I just thought that you were trying to make up for losing to me and tried to lie about my husband's job. But when I went to my husband with all of this, he turned ghost white. He told me that a project he had been working on worth $7 million had started to go downhill.
And as for that project, he had come to my company asking for us to help take part in it to come out with a success. And at first I thought that the partnership would be good for us and that we'd just have to work with his company like any other project had been. But when I saw the information regarding the project from him, well, let's just say that what he had been wanting was unobtainable and that he was way in over his head.
It was that bad then?
Yes. He didn't even have any plans yet for the marketing side of the project, and that alone showed me that he had no faith in even getting this project to go anywhere. And so that's why I ended up saying no to his offer of us working together. But before I even had the chance to give him my answer, he already had his company working on the project and everything, thinking I'd join in. This should be common sense for anyone, but when someone already starts working on something without even getting notice of their partner's will to work alongside them or not, it's not a good sign for things to come. So, after seeing all of this from your husband and his company, I lost faith in doing any more work with him, and so I canceled all projects that were already ongoing with his company and will no longer be a customer of his. And I made sure to have that notice sent to his company the other day.
What the hell? So this is what ended up happening?
I'll have you know on a personal level that your husband has got guts for jumping on a project like that without overthinking things. But when it comes to business, you can't be too hasty like that. It can spell doom for any company when they aren't quite ready yet. And that's why I'd no longer like to do business with him and his company.
What the hell does he think he's doing? Hey, Greg. You guys, did you all move out of that house?
Huh? Oh, geez, it's you again, Mrs. Jan Witherton. It's been, what, half a year now since we last chatted?
It's Smith again.
Huh?
I divorced that man today. His company ended up going bankrupt, so I made sure that he paid for doing something so selfish as losing his company while married to me.
Okay.
So you guys moved out of that house?
Why are you asking me something like that?
I know that back in elementary school your family moved downtown and opened up that used furniture store near the station, but now it's gone and has been turned into an apartment building.
Well, my parents moved their store, and when they did that, they sold that place to a housing company. Well, I didn't know they were going to tear that place down and turn it into an apartment building, though, so that's news to my ears. Does this mean that you went to our old house and tried looking for me?
I sure did, and I thought that it would still be your house, and that's why I came all the way over here looking for you. If you were going to move out of there, you need to tell me that stuff.
Why is it important for me to tell you when I'm moving, when you and I have little relation to one another? It's not even like you're close to my parents, either.
Well, I'm planning on getting married to you soon, so you know better than to leave me in the dark like this.
Huh?
It looks like a lonely loser like you is finally going to have your chance at getting a wife, right? And not only is this chance rare for you, but it's even more rare considering I'm like the diamond of women, and I'm willing to marry you now. So make sure to treat me right, okay?
No, please tell me you're not being serious right now.
Hey, about your current address.
I'm already married to another woman right now.
Huh?
I've been married to one of my best friends for a while now, and we've already had 3 kids together.
You're kidding. That's a freaking lie, right? If you're already married, then what's going to happen to me? I thought that even after divorcing someone like my ex, I'd still have you to fall back on.
Wait. Why did you think that would be the case? There was never a moment between us where you thought you could become my wife, right?
There was, though. Back in middle school, you had a crush on me.
I absolutely did not, but...
Huh? When you and I were in the same classes in 8th grade, you were always looking over at me like you wanted me in every way.
That was me looking at the girl sitting next to you, who is now currently my wife.
What?
So that's probably why you thought I was looking at you like that back then. And back then you knew about me dating her, right?
Wait, you're joking, right? No way. You're telling me that you were into that nerdy little freak of a girl?
Well, rather than calling her a nerdy freak, you can call her something like a nerdy and quirky girl.
Huh? You're telling me that a freak like her made you fall in love with her more than a goddess like me? You divorce her this instant and come and marry me!
Screw you.
Marry me right now. Where the hell are you living right now, Greg? Marry me! Tell me where you live!
Shut up already.
What?
I'm blocking you now.
Wait a goddamn second.
Bye-bye.
You're supposed to marry me!
Right before blocking things with Jan, she made it seem as though I'd really want to marry her. However, what I learned later is that the previous marriage she had with her CEO husband was actually made possible by her stealing him from her younger sister years ago, and that led to her whole family cutting ties to her. And so, because of that, after leaving her CEO husband, she would have nowhere left to go home to. And that's why she was so hell-bent on marrying me. And only a few days after I blocked her, she started to cause a disturbance at the front desk of my office, saying she needed to talk to me and would start tearing her way into my office if they didn't let her in. But before she could do anything to get to me or harm any of my employees, my security was on her like dogs, and they took her away in one of their cars to the nearest police station to have her turned in for trespassing. And ever since she was taken into custody by the police, things have been calm and peaceful for me. However, a couple days after that, I heard more news about her and her ex-husband, and it became clear to me that she never left her husband due to his company going bankrupt. Rather, he had divorced her because she'd been cheating on him with another man from our class reunion. So as of right now, Jan is working her butt off at multiple different jobs trying to make money to pay for her own apartment as well as money to pay off the settlement her ex asked for.
Oh my, this isn't good at all. What am I going to do about this? What's happened now, Bev? I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. What am I supposed to do about this now? Bev? I really don't care to sit here listening to you trying to act out another one of your scenarios where you're concerned about something. Just tell me what's happened and let's move on with this. You're starting to annoy me again. Annoy you? Oh, Chloe, how dare you? Calling your own husband's mother annoying like that. Just tell me what's going on. I already know the kind of person you are, so trying to act all concerned about anything that has to do with me is no use. And I'm going to just assume that once again you've done something that will cause me the most trouble, like always. So get on with what you have to tell me. You really are so disappointing. And you think you have any right telling me that when you're the one trying to once again create some rough waters between yourself and your daughter-in-law? Well, so be it. I don't have time to mess around anymore myself, so here's the thing. I ended up losing your passport, so would you mind staying home while we all leave? Even Devin is saying that's our best plan. Is that right? I'm not sure how and why you had my passport in the first place, but what you're saying is that it's best I stay home? That's what I'm saying. Understood, Bev. Then I'll be heading home now. Devin, did you end up giving my passport to your mom?
What? Wait, I have no clue what happened there with your passport. And hold on, wasn't it you that took it with you?
Well, one might say that. I would have to, or else it would be impossible for me to board a plane to head out of the U.S., right?
Did something happen?
If you're not already aware, I just got a couple of texts from your mom. She told me that she ended up losing my passport somewhere and that I need to head home right now and stay there while you guys are gone.
What the heck? I can go have a word with her right now about what she's talking about if you'd like me to.
Please do. Where are you at right now?
I'm in the restroom. I was actually on my way here when you started to text me because I was wanting to have a word with you to see what was happening. And since I was with both of my parents, I didn't want them questioning what I was doing, so I said I had to do a number 2.
I see.
Anyway, we both weren't planning to spend a lot of time with them anyway, and I'm still ready with the plans you and I had.
Same with me. No problems here at the moment.
Roger that. Then I'll get ready to head back out to him.
Sounds good. And good work hiding in the restroom like that.
Take care of my little sister for me, please.
Will do. Safe travels out there.
Thank you, Chloe. And the same thing goes for you guys.
We're having so much fun out here in the Bahamas. I know that you weren't able to come along with us since your passport was lost and everything, but coming out here was the right choice for all of us. My husband and I, along with Devin, are having the best time ever here with nobody else involved. I just knew that the best way to enjoy a vacation was with my family and my family alone. You say that you wanted all of your family there and only your family, but doesn't it seem strange to you that your daughter isn't there? Huh? Rachel? Oh, like you, she doesn't have anything to do with being a part of my family. Even though she's Devin's little sister? And I'm saying my family does not allow for there to be any useless people like her in it. Jesus. Now, all the fun I was having is being wasted on this conversation. If you feel like you're not having a good time now, then you shouldn't have started texting me in the first place. I just wanted to show you how much fun we were having. Ah, well, I don't care about how you all are doing there. I can see that you all are having a great time there, but I don't want to sit around all day talking with you about it, so goodbye for now. Hold it right there. This is what I mean by you not being cute at all. You really have nothing else in that head of yours besides hate.
I should have known that would happen.
Hmm?
I knew your skills of being able to dodge my mom like that were going to come into play, and you did a great job of ruining her fun.
So you did see that unfold.
Well, it's just that my mom had me there alongside her thinking that I'm her ally in all of this and wanted to show me how much of a bully she could be. And then when you said those things to her towards the end of that conversation, she turned to me, whining about it all.
Sorry for causing you any trouble there.
Oh, that's right. This has to do with what my mom was saying about having lost your passport and all. I think she assumed that you'd actually be coming out to join us all on this vacation and wouldn't be heading somewhere else completely different.
Ah. So she must have thought that when I said I'd be going on vacation as well, that it meant I would be with all of you guys, and that's why she went out of her way to lose my passport?
Well, when I had a moment, I noticed something that looked like a passport hanging out of her bag and went to take a look while she was away from it. And that passport just so happens to be yours, which means that she didn't lose it at all.
Is that right?
I think the one she lost on purpose had to be the small notebook you had that happened to look like a real passport.
Wait, so she purposefully lost that and not my actual passport? The notebook that I had gotten a while ago at that small gift shop?
That's right, that notebook.
She didn't realize that it was just a simple notebook when she picked it up?
She's gotten to that point in her life where age is really starting to affect her eyes, but due to her pride and all, she still won't go out to get any glasses. The fact that she actually thought a notebook like that was the same thing as a real passport does lead me to question some other things about her than just her eyesight, though. She brought that notebook with her all the way to the Bahamas thinking she'd gotten you good.
So she was doing all of that just to hurt me. I'm so sorry for your loss, Devin.
Huh?
Anyway, thank you for taking a look at what was in her bag. Since it didn't happen to be my passport, I'm feeling a whole lot better now.
No worries. How is Rachel doing with you?
She's doing just fine. She just moved into her new place a few days ago, but having her own place now at the age of 19 has really gotten her all excited. She looks to be having a really fun time there. And later, once you arrive back here, you're going to help her set up her first smartphone and everything, right? She told me that she's so excited about that, and she can't even sleep anymore.
I see. I'm so happy to hear that she's getting that excited over everything. The fact that she had to go through 19 years of pain and suffering in my family, all because I was the older brother and was the only child loved by my parents. I'm so happy.
Tomorrow the both of us will be going into town to shop at that massive shopping mall for some new things for her place.
Can you go ahead and tell her that I'll pay for everything later so she is allowed to buy whatever she wants from wherever she wants?
Sure thing. I'll let her know that.
Well, that's all I really had to tell you about today. I'm going to start getting myself ready to leave this country tomorrow and come back home to you.
Sounds good. Just a little bit more and this will all be over with. Good luck, Devin.
Thank you.
Devin, your father and I already told you about the plane we'd be heading home on and how it would be just fine with you to ride home with us as well. So are you really sure that you want to take a different flight from us still?
I'm sorry, but you both should head home before me on that originally planned flight. There's some trouble going on at work right now, and I don't want to be on a 4-hour plane ride worrying about it all, since there'll be no way for me to take calls on the plane. I'll stay here for the day, and once I've gotten everything sorted out, I'll take the evening flight home. That's really the only choice I have at the moment anyway. Luckily, you have Dad with you still, who's flown all the time, so you won't need me on that flight home with you, right?
Well, I guess I do have him with me.
Anywho, I have to start making some calls now, so I'll have to go, Mom. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to need this thing while I was here, but I made the right choice bringing my laptop and all along with me.
Having to always change your plans from the rest of us like that during this whole trip. I feel so bad for you, Devin. I just can't believe it.
Chloe, thank you so much for waiting. Both my mom and dad have left the country and should have arrived back home by now. And pretty soon here, the plane to New York City will be taking off, and I'll be on my way there to meet you.
Oh, so things have all gone as planned? Great work making all of that happen over there, Devin.
Thank you. It's going to be about a 5-hour trip for me now, and I won't have any Wi-Fi on this flight, surprisingly. So in a bit here, I'm going to throw my phone into airplane mode and then take a nap.
Sounds good. I know for a fact that while you're on that plane, your mom is going to be texting me about you not being home yet or something along those lines. Just leave her and her BS to me.
I feel bad for leaving you with her, but please, finish what we started.
Chloe, where did Devin go? You hurry up and reply to me right now. You tell me where Devin is right now. Jesus Christ. It took you that long before thinking of getting in touch with me again? Huh? You and your husband got back home from that trip around 4 hours after taking off yesterday afternoon. Which would mean that you guys had gotten home around 6 or 7 and have been home ever since last night, right? I kind of assumed that you would be trying to call and text me in the middle of the night, realizing something was up. But I never got anything from you and was able to head to sleep myself. By the time we both made it back home last night, we were exhausted and went right to bed, only waking up just now. I realized that I didn't have my phone on all night and just turned it on as I went to the bathroom. Which would mean you only just received all those texts about how Devin was cutting ties to the both of you, which you should have been getting last night, right?
And you know where that boy is right now, don't you?
Yes, I know exactly where he's at.
Then you tell me where right now.
He's at a hotel near the airport.
What? So he's still not back to his place here in Ohio, right? Then if I made a trip out to the international airport, I'd be able to find him?
Well, he didn't head back to Ohio, so don't expect for him to be anywhere around that airport.
Huh? He's not coming back to Ohio? What the hell do you mean by that?
Devin and I have decided to move overseas, you see.
You're moving overseas?
Because we both work for the same company and same department in said company. We've told you before about how the company is expanding and needs people to move overseas, right? And this time it's us who will be moving away for work to the new office. We were both asked by management to do so, and we both couldn't just say no to them.
I never heard anything about that, though.
Well, we never told you that part.
Why the hell not? Moving out of the country to live and work someplace else isn't something you guys should be keeping from your parents.
Considering he told you he was cutting ties to the both of you, are you not aware of the reason for why he never said anything about that yet?
I have no idea why. After all that time I put into the boy, making him into an elite, there's no way he would move against us and say that he's willing to cut ties and move away. I'm sure that all of this was your idea and that you've been forcing him to do this. You give us back our Devin right now.
My, oh my. If you haven't even picked up on why this has all happened, then there is no way you've noticed the other two things that have changed.
Huh? What are you talking about?
What have you noticed about Rachel?
What? Now that you mention her, ever since we arrived back home, we haven't seen her anywhere. I just had a look in her room and all of her things are gone and there's nothing left of her.
You're talking about the 3 cases of things she had in that tiny closet she'd been living in? I can't believe that she survived 19 years living in that home with you and never once ran away from you guys.
She should be happy that someone as useless as her was even allowed to have 3 things worth of stuff in this house.
I had always wanted to ask about this, but what about Rachel makes you call her a useless person like that so often?
Because she's so clumsy at everything she does, and when it comes to her grades in school.
The high school Rachel went to happened to be the top performing school in the state, right?
Huh?
And in that school, she graduated as the valedictorian.
Huh?
Her strong points were things like linguistics and social sciences, which allowed for her to excel in pretty much every class when it came to things like speeches and group projects. She was also able to get the highest score on the SAT out of the whole entire school, as well as with the ACT. She was considered the best student that school had ever seen, and one of the brightest people for her age in the country.
Huh?
I'm not sure when or where you were looking at that girl, but from what I know about Rachel, she is too intelligent to fail like you and your husband wanted. So after talking with Devin and her about her future, we all decided that she'd be coming with the 2 of us to go and live overseas.
Are you kidding me? So you guys are already...
We've gone and met with Devin at the airport just now, and we'll be leaving the country soon. Rachel's told us that when we arrive into our new country of residence, she's going to get to work making it into their top university.
What the hell is going on? How could you?
I can see you're already in a lot of shock, but it's too soon for that yet.
What else is there?
Well, there's still one more thing before we're done with you.
And what the hell could that be?
Your husband.
What? All of my husband's things are gone as well.
I'm not too sure how he went about doing a lot of that, but for some time now, he's been talking with Devin about how he'd be moving a lot of his things out, little by little.
Where did my husband go?
As far as I'm aware, he's not at home with you anymore.
Well, you have to know more than the obvious about him.
If you want to know everything that I'm aware of, it seems that he's gone and left the company he'd been working at. An early retirement, perhaps?
He retired?
He'd been trying to warn you for years now to cut it out with treating your children so differently from one another. and said that he could no longer put up with your constant babying of Devin while treating Rachel like trash. So he'd been aiming for the perfect time to divorce you.
Divorce me?
I was pretty shocked, too, to learn a lot of this from Devin after he'd been talking with his dad about everything. But it turns out that around the time Devin entered middle school, your husband noticed that you weren't paying any attention to Rachel and started to ask why. And the only answers you'd give were that Devin was the first child and needed to be treated as such by being spoiled and supported with all your energy.
But
I guess he continued to try and talk you out of doing that to Rachel ever since then, but every single time he would, you'd grow more and more upset, taking it all out on Rachel.
He never said anything to me about it like he was wanting me to stop, though.
That's not how he made it seem to us, and he's even shown Devin some of the conversations you guys had years ago, proving that you never cared about his views on this either. Anyway, he told us that a lawyer would be getting in touch with you really soon about that, and that they would be the only way for you to communicate with him anymore.
He is a lawyer now, too?
Now, that's all I really have that I can say to you, so with that,
Chloe.
Goodbye forever.
Chloe!
When it comes to Devin's dad and what he did to run away from his wife, he took all the things he could in his car and went to stay in an Airbnb somewhere outside the state. A few days later, he was able to get the divorce from Bev and is now moving out to be with some friends of his and help them with some work for a little extra cash. The story of all of this was soon heard throughout the neighborhood, and this led to everyone referring to Bev as a family of one, and they all began to stop supporting her as well. The house happened to be her family, so in the end, she never had to leave it or anything with the divorce. But for someone who wanted to just stay inside for the rest of her life, never to face the world of embarrassment she'd created again, she had no choice but to go out and find a job. She's now working at a grocery store on the other side of the neighborhood, where she gets to overhear all the drama in town. Particularly what everyone still has to say about her, and how they expected something like this to happen to her over time. She started to think about quitting her job, since the pain of having to go out in front of everyone is too much. And since she's gotten her half of her ex-husband's money, she's begun staying home more and more often, spending it all without limits, hoping she'll one day be fired and not have to go out again. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.